Guys, thanks for listening to another episode of the Precision Rifle Network podcast. This is going to be up on the website for the podcast, Anchor, which goes out to Apple Podcasts, but it's also going to be up in video form. So I'm going to just talk through some points. It's been a little while since I've done a podcast, probably getting close to a month. I apologize for that. I really want to make these a weekly thing, but on the priority list, it kind of gets pushed back occasionally. So today we're going to be talking about, the Guardian match that I just went and took photos and video for. We're going to be talking about a scope test that I did for the Gun Collective, and then also a night vision class that I'm going to be taking this next weekend with CR2 Shooting Solutions. So that's where we're headed today. Strap in and stay tuned. Let me switch this real quick so that you can start seeing multiple angles up here on the camera, and we'll go from there. Okay, here we go. So the Guardian match. I personally had a ton of fun at the Guardian match. Now, if you've ever been to a Guardian match, fun should be one of the first things that comes to your mind. It just really, it's a different environment. Now I've been to a couple now. I went to the one in Ireland, which was my first experience and was awesome. It was just a ton of fun. It's a different environment. You know, the Guardian is quote unquote for the kids. This is what they say. And it's because Gary Larson, the founder of the Guardian matches, is an adoption kid or foster kid, and so he's got a heart for that, and I can appreciate that. And so some of the proceeds from every match ends up going to a local charity that supports adoption or foster care, and it's just a good mission. And so the hashtag for the kids, that's where it comes from, and a lot of the money goes there. You know, this last time they gave a check for $15,000 to a South Georgia, charity that supports that. And it's just a really cool thing to do, with an event like that. So, so that's awesome. And then, so just to break this down for you, like it's a standard type of match. And this one in Georgia was a team match, and Gary was not the match director. It was, Lemon. I don't actually know it's Josh. I don't remember his last name, but anyway, he put it together. From what I hear, it was fairly challenging. Guys still were having fun and enjoying it, but it was a fairly challenging match. And typically the Guardians are considered quote unquote easier than standard PRS style matches, because it's really geared more towards, the newer to mid-pack shooters, getting a chance to get a lot of impacts and just have fun. And so think standard PRS style match with most of it, but there's always just some fun, gamey kind of things thrown in, just some quirkiness, which, is fine when you know that going into it ahead of time. And so I went down to take photos and video, and it was kind of a cool match because it was a joint match between the Army Sniper Association and the Marine Corps Scout Sniper Association. They kind of put on the match as a grudge match. So some teams from the Army and some teams from the Marine Corps show up, and they basically compete through the match. And whichever team comes out on top, they get a special trophy, kind of bragging rights between the two branches that carries on until the next year. And that's cool, and I appreciate it. And it's really good because I like, supporting our military in its various forms and whatnot. And so they were there, and that was good. And, the match started on Saturday morning, crack of dawn. And if you're not familiar with this, Saturday at a Guardian match is your standard match. So it's either, like if I was there as a single shooter, I would just go through the match and compete the way that I would compete, doing my best to score as high as I can. And then on Sunday, it actually becomes kind of a team match where the highest level shooter gets paired up with the lowest level shooter. And, so first place with last place and so on. And it becomes a team match. And then if you think about that, that's pretty great. That's a pretty great format, because then the people that are at the bottom end up getting kind of the best help to increase their knowledge or whatever on different types of barricades. I mean, what gear to use, wind calls, you name it. The best shooters start helping the lowest place shooters, and it just becomes a really good training environment. And it's just a cool match. So I was able to go take pictures, and I got some chuckles because I have this little electric bike that I cruise around on. Looks like a little mini motorcycle kind of thing, but it's electric. And I took that because I don't like to drive my car back and forth, like behind and around and through all the competitors as they're going from stage to stage. It's just distracting, and it wouldn't be allowed at a PRS style match. And so, but I can get this little electric bike. It's silent. I can get places quickly so that I can get more footage, more coverage of the match. And so I got some funny looks because, I'm kind of a fat kid, and, you put me on this little motorcycle thing that's electric and cruise around. And I don't do it for like looks or whatever. I'm just trying to functionally get from one place to another. But yeah, people had a chuckle at my expense because of that. It's fine. Whatever. It is what it is. I'm not going to stop driving around on my little electric motorcycle thing. So y'all can just, take your fussiness somewhere else. I did not get very much video. I really was after a ton of good pictures for Gary, and I'm actually still editing through all of those pictures. I took a lot, potentially thousands. And I need to go through and edit through all those pictures and just see which ones are the best. Now, if I, just give you an example, like if I take 1,000 photos, I can expect that maybe a third of those will come back as like good ones that I think are composed, correctly. The lighting is decent. The image is tack sharp. On the subject and all that kind of stuff. And of those, then I'll pare it down even further to where, let's say 300 photos I like kind of zoom in on, and I'm like, okay, these 300 might be good. I might pare that down again to maybe only 100 pictures that I actually spend time in Lightroom editing the lighting and just all of the detail work that goes into editing photography at a high level. And that'll take me days. Like I put hours into that. And then I'll just donate those pictures to Gary, and he can use them on the website or however he chooses to use them. But I think I did get some pretty good photos on the match, and a few of them you've seen on the Instagram probably already. There's a sweet one off this Connex box, and a couple of guys are running the KGM suppressors, and I got the smoke from the suppressor coming out and going up. And if you've seen it on the Instagram page or not, go check it out. It's a pretty sweet shot. I'm not like saying that in a prideful way. I'm just saying like sometimes you get lucky, and I got lucky with that shot, and I think it's a pretty sweet shot. And I might actually blow that one up pretty big on a canvas and put it on my wall here in the man cave. That'd be pretty sweet. So there's that. Guardian match. Let's see. There was a bunch of people there. It was in Georgia. It was a beautiful fall weekend. Like no complaints about any of that. The cotton fields are always a kick for me because I don't live down south where there's cotton fields. I live in the middle of Missouri. We still just got, corn and soybean fields around here. And cotton fields were all in bloom, and so it just looked like, white fields of snow everywhere. I actually stopped by the side of the road and stole some dude's cotton. I don't know. I picked a piece of cotton off of his cotton plant because I'd never actually seen it up close in my hand, like the little seeds inside of there, and just all that. Stupid, I know, but whatever. I'm easily distracted when I'm out on these things. I'm like, oh, that looks cool, and I'll go check it out. So Guardian match was good. I'm actually heading down to Texas here in a few weeks to compete in the Guardian. That's going to be happening down there now near Pearsall, Texas. I think it's Foxtrot something training down there. So that'll be good. that'll actually be my first. Yeah, that'll actually be my first Guardian match that I will compete in, that I've ever competed in. These other Guardian matches that I've been to, I've just attended, either to help out or take pictures or whatever. This will be the first one that I've actually competed in. So looking forward to that. I don't have any expectations for how I will place or anything like that. I'm just there to have some fun and finish out my shooting season. So anyway, if you're not familiar with the Guardian matches, definitely check them out and consider signing up. If you're used to kind of the tense, the competition level of a PRS type match, go to it and you kind of don't like that anymore, just meaning like it's just kind of becoming a little old, stagnant, whatever. Maybe you want to try something new. I think the Guardian is 100% worth trying something new. I think you get refreshed by how it feels to be at a Guardian match versus a PRS match. So I'll just leave it at that. So next thing, let's see. Oh yeah, so I did this scope test for the Gun Collective. If you're not familiar with the Gun Collective, they're a large YouTube channel and brand. Been around for a while. John Patton owns that, runs that, and they've been doing good things for the 2A community and through video and different things for some years now. And I have always appreciated what they do. And John reached out not too long ago and said, hey man, appreciate your content. Would you consider making some long range type content for the Gun Collective? I was like, heck yeah, let's do it. And so I started making some videos for them. And this most recent one was a serious challenge for me. And I didn't really know when I agreed to do the video just how challenging it was going to be. Like the videos that you see me do are typically just something that I'm having fun with at the moment, and I just want to kind of show what I'm doing and how I'm doing it. Sometimes they're educational, sometimes they're just informational or whatever. I'll do a product review and say, hey, I like these 3 or 5 things, and here's maybe a thing or 2 that I'll change. This video was not like that. I needed to do an actual, somewhat scientific comparison between 2 scopes and show the differences in quality between different types of scope glass, because, it basically all stemmed from the thought that, you hear people say, well, my whatever, $300, $400, $500 optic is just as good as your $2,000 optic. And they're saying that because they can hit the same target at 800 yards with the $500 optic as they can with the $2,500 optic. And so that's why they're saying it. And in that sense, and if that were the only criteria, being able to hit an 800-yard target on a bright, sunny day, well, yeah, then of course you can use your $500 optic and I'll use my $2,500 optic, and there won't be any difference in the hits that we can get on a 2 MOA plate or whatever it is. But there's a lot more to it than that, and I was trying to show that in this video. And I am not a scientific person. You guys know this. You've been around my channel. If you've seen my videos where I've tried to be scientific, I am not good at it. I don't have an analytical mind. I'm not administrative. I'm a creative type. And I don't think like that. I think in abstracts. You want creative problem solving? You come to me. I'm off the cuff and just kind of obscure in the way I do things. And so to try to come up with a very detailed video like that was a challenge, I'll tell you. But it turned out great, I think. And we've been getting lots of compliments on the video. So I'm not taking that as it was really funny, because I was thinking to myself, oh man, there's a lot of positive comments on this video, like people saying, very well done, very well presented, yada, yada. And I was like, doggone it. Not that I would intentionally do a bad job to keep from having to do that kind of video again. But I thought to myself, I bet John's going to say something and he's going to want to do a similar type of video again. And sure enough, man, a day later, here comes his text. He's like, hey man, we've been getting a lot of positive comments on this. What do you think about doing more videos like that? And I was like, ooh, I don't know about that, dude. It was not my funnest project. If I could choose to not do that kind of video, I would choose to not do that kind of video. We need to do what's best for John's channel, of course, but gosh, if we can figure out a different way to do it, that would be awesome. So those are going to be few and far between, doing stuff like that. It's a lot of work. Like, you know, I've got to use the scope. It's not scope cam. It's here, I got the box under here. Trigger cam. It's the trigger cam 2.1. It's a great product, but if you think about trying to film through a scope and then a camera along with that, sometimes, like, there's just a lot of different lenses and mirrors and whatever. So the image that comes through onto the video, not to mention the fact that when you upload it to YouTube, YouTube downgrades the footage as well. There's just so many variables in there. When you're trying to accurately and truthfully represent what a scope looks like through the scope, there's just way too many things that can go wrong. I attempted it. I think we did okay, but man, not my favorite. Anyway, it was still a good video, and we had a lot of good comments on it, and you know, very, very few negatives, which, you know, that's unusual for me. There's always negative comments on my videos, which I'm fine with. You know, I'm hardened to it, I guess. You know, over the years, that with my law enforcement background, like, I've been called every name in the book. You know, it doesn't bother me necessarily. It could potentially bother me, but it doesn't bother me too much. I don't like injustice. I will always fight back verbally on anything that comes across to me as injustice. Or if somebody's, you know, basically calling me a liar, like, I'm not gonna let that stand either. But for the most part, you know, I'm used to the negativity, but we didn't get any of that on the TGC video. Very, very little anyway. So, you know, it was a good video. You guys should go check it out on TGC. It's like I think it's, what is it, $700 versus $1,700 scope. And I used the tracked toric as the higher end scope, the $1,700 scope, and it was the Swamp Fox precision rifle scope. What's it called? Warhawk, the Swamp Fox Warhawk for the $700 optic. And I will tell you that Swamp Fox, even though there's a significant difference between the footage that you see on that video, the Swamp Fox is a good scope for that money. I mean, it really is. You know, like, all the buzz around Arkin optics, like, people are like, oh, you should really see it. Like, for $500, that Arkin optics are $400. That Arkin is, you know, is worth twice that money. Well, the Swamp Fox is similar in that sense. Like, you're going to pay $689 or something like that for the Swamp Fox optic, but you're going to feel like you got a $1,200 scope. Like, it's really pretty nice. It's not quite a $1,700 scope or a $2,000 scope, which I showed in that video. It's not quite there, but you don't expect that. You shouldn't expect that from only paying $689 or whatever it is. But it is really good. It's got a lot of features that we all want. You know, locking turrets and zero stop and a good reticle and, you know, nice clear glass and yada yada. Like, you can make the impacts for your target shooting, or especially like if you're using it at hunting inside of 600 yards or something like that. I put that number 600 yards inside on that just because of, you know, my personal take on hunting ethics, I guess. You know, whatever. It's each to their own. Like, I don't have a problem with somebody taking a shot on an animal at 1,000 yards if that is well within their skill set and their wheelhouse, and the caliber they're using is appropriate for that distance, you know, to make a, you know, near 100% hit probability. For me personally, it's less than that, you know, not because I'm not confident in my ability to make a 1,000-yard hit on an animal, because I think I probably could, but can I hit, like, what's the percentage that I can hit that kill zone 100% of the time? In order to do that on a deer or elk size animal, I'm going to be below 600 yards. That's just me personally. And so that's why I say that with the Swamp Fox. Like, you could totally see past that distance, like in a hunting capacity, and it would be a good scope for that. But me personally, I would keep it less than that for that reason. But anyway, really good optic, like a lot of features, a lot of good accessories come in the box, you know, like the kill flash and the sunshade and the throw lever and all that kind of stuff. to be completely honest, I would probably stay away from their rings. Just mounting their rings, like when I had the camera attached through the scope, and I used a set of Seekins rings versus the Swamp Fox rings, and to see like that shift in how far off of center, the difference between those two, it was, I don't know if that's making sense, but hopefully that's making sense. Like the precision with which the Seekins rings were machined versus the Swamp Fox rings, whoever machined them for those guys, it's not nearly as good a quality. You can just tell. There was a significant shift, between the two. They would probably work, you just adjust for the shift and just run it. But I'm just saying, you could definitely tell that there was a lesser quality there. But yeah, Swamp Fox Optics, you guys should check them out. I don't get any kind of a kickback. I'm just saying I think it's a decent scope, and yeah, treated us well. All right, last thing, CR2 Shooting Solutions. That is the Chris Rance and Christopher Roberts. They are going to be doing a class at 88 Tactical in Nebraska in about 3 or 4 days from now. This is, November or whatever it is, 11th, 12th, something like that. So this weekend, they're going to be doing a night vision precision rifle class up there at 88 Tactical. And I am going, and I'm meeting a friend, and one of our mutual friends is kind of, he's an instructor, a precision rifle instructor at 88 Tactical. Sorry, I'm getting dings. I wasn't expecting that. Turn down my notifications here. Sorry about that, you guys. So we're going up there, and I expect kind of your standard level, like fundamentals as far as the precision rifle aspect of the class goes. I'm really looking forward to the additional information of using night vision at longer distance shots. I've had night vision for some years now, but I've only ever ran it on, little suppressed 22s, or an AR for predator control around my own property, and that's inside of 100 yards, if that. And so, to put a setup like this with a clip-on night vision and an illuminator and a laser designator and all that kind of stuff up on top of an actual, precision rifle, like a long-range bolt gun, and then engage targets out to, I think 88 Tactical has 500 yards. It's gonna be pretty cool. I'm really looking forward to it. And speaking of being pretty cool, the downside of this, and I should have known when I booked a mid-November class in Nebraska at night that it was going to be cold. I just didn't think it would be this cold. And actually, if you look at my buddy Cullen, who's also going to the match with me, has been sending me screenshots of the weather report of last week, and it's supposed to be the coldest 2 days while we're there. Like the coldest 2 days out of weeks. It's supposed to be in the single digits and low teens, while we're supposed to be outside 2 nights in a row for 8 hours at night. In the cold. So I had to buy snow pants. I haven't had snow pants in years, and I bought actual insulated snow pants, and I've got a big hunting puffy coat that I'll be wearing, and face mask and hat and gloves, and you name it, man. I went all out, because if I'm miserable, I'm not going to do it. I do this stuff for fun. It's just not worth it to me. And I probably, in all honesty, would have backed out of the class if there was any way to get my money back. But I'm not going to do that to Chris Roberts and CR2. I'm just not going to do it. So if I go and I'm just freezing, I'm just going to have to I'm going to have to transfer between sitting in the car and warming up for a while and then coming back. I'm not afraid to walk off the firing line and go get warmed up. My fun and my comfort is more important to me. So anyway, but the class should be a good time. So I've got a helmet set up, just a bump helmet, with some night vision goggles. They're AGM, I think, is who make those ones, and they're White Foss, and they're not high end tubes or anything like that, but they're pretty good. So I'm running that just for my helmet and my goggles setup. And then on the rifle, I bought an AGM Comanche 22, I believe it is. You can go look that up, but it's a kind of a low end 3rd gen night vision binocular. It's a white phos, but it's got low end specs on it. It's not anything amazing. I was just trying to not spend too much money, because those things, like for good ones, can be 15 grand or yeah, around 15 grand for really good ones, and I just wasn't going to spend that. So I got that, and I've got an illuminator with laser designator, D-ball or something like that, I believe. Or the mall. No, that's the D-ball. I've got that sitting up on top, on a mount on top of the scope, and the the Comanche just kind of clips on the rail of. So I'm running. Sorry, I'm getting jumbled because I'm trying to remember all the parts and everything that I'm running. So I bought a Seekins, not specifically for this class, but just because a guy was selling it, and I've been kind of wanting a gas gun 6-arc for a while, and he had a Seekins complete 6-arc build that was basically untouched. He'd only put a few rounds through it. He had like a handful of magazines come with it for like a screaming price, and so screaming deal. So I went ahead and I bought that 6-arc, and so that's the gun I'm going to be running in the class. And it's kind of got a monolithic rail all the way across the top, and so I was able to mount everything, scope and the night vision optic and everything right in line perfectly and all that kind of stuff. And then I'm running the illuminator and laser on top of the scope, and so that should be sufficient out to say 500 yards. That illuminator probably would not reach. I mean, it will reach farther, but probably not with that particular night vision scope. The Comanche is probably not quite good enough quality to be getting past that 500 yard range, just from what I've seen in my testing so far. So we'll see. That thing might be up for sale after this class. It'll be really nice to see what Chris says in the class about different brands and quality that you need for different types of engagements and all that kind of stuff. Like, I'll get some context, and then I'll probably be switching gear out. But so that's all coming up. That's what I've been doing. Coming up for the TGC videos, I'll just let you guys know, I'm going to be doing a 6.5 Grendel versus 6mm arc comparison. That'll be coming up on TGC. I've got some other ideas for them, like putting a low-end optic on a high-end rifle and a high-end optic on a low-end rifle, and doing a comparison video for there. For myself, on the PRN channel, we've got some more videos from Securite Gun Storage coming up, because they are now a title sponsor of the channel, and so definitely want you guys to know about that. If you haven't already, hit that link in the description below. There's a link down there. There's a coupon code to save you some money. If you're needing hearing protection, Axle, in my opinion, is a good option that won't break the bank. They're doing a buy one, get one free sale right now, so hit that link down in the description. As always, Coltac has been with me for years, and so shout out to Dustin and Coltac. There's a coupon code for 10% down in the description for them as well. Thanks for watching today, guys. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, and stay tuned, please, for more great videos from Precision Rifle Network.